We don't have to, but we could. So we were just trying to discuss how we're going to start this. I think that's where, if we're fumbling, it feels like, what do I say? Hello?
Yeah, how do we start?
Really
well, we could just say, you know what? Hey guys, it's two tipsy teachers here to talk to you today.
We could. I mean, it's a start.
Sounds kind of hokey.
It is a start. Well,
we need music. We need like what real podcasts
an intro. You know what we need? Well, not just, here's what
Fat
I
Bottom
miss.
Girls.
Fat Bottom Girls. No.
Okay.
I miss the TV intros. What do you call those? Like the theme songs.
Yeah,
From back when we were watching, back way before cable, you just had certain channels, blah, blah, blah. Every single freaking TV show had a theme song. And as soon as I hear that theme song, now either the music or the words, you knew it and you sang it. Now, the show just kind of comes on. Just come, or there's a little
you just
jingle,
have
a little
Netflix
ditty.
go, da-da-da.
Yeah, but there's nothing that clicks with it.
No.
That's just what we need.
That's just
somebody needs to write us a theme song.
Or
at least give us
suggest
some
one.
ideas.
Yeah.
Oh,
let's do it.
And then we might, maybe not sing it, but we'll get somebody to record it.
Well, we can record it and have it play.
Max could play it on one of his instruments.
Trombone, I don't think so.
Okay, are you sure? He might. I mean, I'd offer, but
it's a trombone, Joellen, right?
But it's a trombone.
I know, but it could be a flute.
It's a trombone. It could not be the flute. I was kicked out of band in 5th grade because I didn't have any skills.
Which is hilarious, isn't it?
It was true. It's back there on my fridge, I think. Oh, yeah, there it is. It's still on there. Because I keep it as a little reminder. So, no, you're not getting the flute.
She has no rhythm.
Well, no, I can't read music. I can't. But I don't have, I have a little bit of rhythm on the dance floor.
Well.
Flawless. I have some flawless dance moves. Signature moves.
I guess we're going to have to.
As long as it has
to
have
you be the judge sometime. We'll have a little dance party with some music.
That we could do too.
Okay.
So today.
Yeah, today we're going to talk about leadership. What great leadership looks like in education.
And by leadership, we are talking administration, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Yep. That's the road we're going down. Because there's leadership.
Yeah, we could talk about teachers being good leaders and so forth. But really, to be honest, I got to believe that whatever we're going to say about admin really applies to teachers too.
Oh, it does. Well, it does, but
it's another whole it's another whole level up, and it's because you're in charge of all of the things.
Well,
a whole school, a whole district,
but what's the role?
Yeah,
right. Sometimes that gets a little boring.
It does.
And to be quite honest with you, when I first started teaching, I had no clue who our superintendent even was. I didn't.
In Middleton?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I knew his name.
Well, that's a big district, Jamon.
But even so. And I really didn't know what their job was.
Oh, what they did?
Yeah. What do they do?
Oh, they're just in charge of all the things.
Of what? They're in charge. They're the in-chargers. They're in charge of stuff.
Oh, they're in charge of the people that are in charge of the things. Right?
Get the
curriculum director, and then the community and the board.
Yeah.
Making sure that all the
stuff.
I can't think of a better word.
No, I know, but honestly,
all the outcomes,
there's just so much
vision is
the last thing I was focused on was superintendent.
As a new teacher, of course.
Yes, but you learn as you go along. Sometimes you learn the hard way because maybe you've done something that gets you an introduction that you didn't really want, but didn't happen. Well, no, that didn't happen. But I did have a director of pupil services that I wasn't too fond of.
Yeah, this is your bad example.
However, we're talking about good leadership.
Right, I was going to say that's bad
good leadership is.
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes to mind, and I am going to guess that most educators who are out there listening to us, there'll be a collective cheer.
Okay.
A good leader does not micromanage.
Yeah.
I mean, that if there is a buzzword amongst the teachers that perhaps administration is tired of hearing, it's micromanaging. We don't need it. It's not necessary.
It's insulting.
It does not build strong relationships. And oftentimes it feels like you need, just what we were talking about, to justify your role and what you're doing. So I need to do something to show that my role is necessary or that I'm effective as a leader. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. No, it just causes a little.
So part of it is trust, right? Like you have to trust that the people that you hired to do the job that they applied for and accepted and signed a contract or handbook for, you have
went to school for,
went to school
have
for,
a license to do,
right?
have the
Might
training
even
to
have a
do.
couple of licenses
Yes.
or degrees. So
Exactly.
you gotta be able to trust them to do their work.
Yeah, and I
Bottom
think
line.
trust would be then the complete opposite of what's the most admired skill in a leader. I think one of the top things would be trust.
Yeah, I do
You
too.
are trusting your staff to do their job. It's not your job as their principal or as their superintendent or as their director of pupil services to tell them how to do their job, how to write their lessons, how to manage their class. It's their job to support them in the work that they already know how to do, to lift them up, you know, to encourage, to provide the tools they may need and the support they may need, because that support can be needed on many different levels. Sometimes it is with a difficult situation in the classroom.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a difficult situation with a coworker. Sometimes it's a difficult situation with a parent.
A parent. Yeah.
So we need to know that you have our backs, that you trust us as professionals. So I think right out of the gate, we're going to hit on two things. One, micromanaging. No. Trust. Yes. Build trust. And, you know, I see a lot out there about thinking about what you expect, how you expect your teachers to build those relationships with their students. You should probably be doing the same thing when you're building relationships with your teachers.
Staff,
So thinking back to some of your, some leaders that just really stick out to you, some administration, what were the qualities they had?
I've had so many good principals. I think that was number one. There wasn't micromanaging and there was trust. Like I did my job. If I had questions, I would go ask and they would answer or help. And in some cases, especially my first couple of years, or at least the first year in a new district. So like I've taught in a couple of districts. So if I needed support, and sometimes they would come into my room and just say, you know, they would ask, do you want me to come in and just sit in and see what I can do to help you? And I was always welcome to that. So I'm like, sure. And so I remember, and it wasn't even my classroom, it was a study hall that I had to do. And it was my first year, and kids were terrible, which they always are for the first year. They just are. First year teachers.
They can smell fresh blood.
Right. Trust me, second year is always better, and the third better, and it keeps going better and better every time the longer you're there. But that first year, the principal had to sit in that study hall pretty much every day for like a quarter.
But did you learn something?
I did. And we would talk about it. And so then, you know, like it was very supportive. So I would say that. And of course, just trusting me to do my job and I'm not going to get into this negative place, but not trying to get the gotcha.
Right.
Or like trying to catch you doing something wrong, but finding something that you're doing well.
Right.
And like encouraging more of that with a little side note of, you know, maybe, you know, this worked for me when I was a teacher, or, you know, something like that, because that is what speaks to teachers. Like, hey, I noticed you did this thing, you know, and I was a teacher, I did this, maybe try that. And it's always an ongoing conversation and a way to handle whatever incidents come up or problems you might have or issues or whatever. It's always an ongoing, well, that didn't work. What am I going to do now? And then keep trying new things. And your principal has to trust you to go through those processes so that you can figure it out.
Well, and they have to trust that you can get there.
Right.
And give you the time you need to get there, because we've all been there. You don't come out of the gate ready to go. Yes, there's a lot of training and education involved, and there's student teaching and there's practicums, but it does not prepare you for the realities of the classroom, the day-to-day. And as you were speaking, something else kind of struck me, and I think it is along the same lines of what you were talking about, especially early in my career. And there are things I think later in my career that impacted that, and we've talked about it in the past, Act 10, different shit like that. A good leader, a good principal, because I think right now that's really where that most of that leadership, direct leadership, comes from in your classroom. You never feel threatened by them.
Yes.
You don't feel threatened by an email.
Like,
you don't feel threatened by a pop-in, just stopping in to see how you're doing. You don't feel threatened by constructive criticism. And you don't feel, technically, yes, they're your boss, so to speak. but not in the same way that you think of a boss in a private sector. They're your go-to support person. So even just early on in my career would be my most, I think, one of my most successful leaders as a principal. I could go to him with anything. And I didn't hesitate.
Right.
I did not hesitate to speak openly to him. I did not hesitate to go to him. And when he could help me, he could. And when he couldn't, he told me. And he told me why. And it made sense. And we continued to talk about it. And if he saw things differently, he told me. And we had a discussion. But I never left feeling small. I never left feeling unheard. And there was even a moment when I referenced a director of people services that made my life miserable, where he was still my principal. And I sat down with him and he said, I will do whatever you need, but I can tell you right now, what the most I can do for you is to listen. So come to me when you need to come to me. If you need me to listen in a phone call, if you need me to review an email, I will do it for you. But right now, this is where we're at. It was just one of those situations where it just didn't impact teachers. This person was impacting our local, our grade level leadership as well. But that makes a good leader.
It sure does. Sure does.
Stood up for your teachers.
You know, one other thing I just thought of when you were talking about this, because you wouldn't feel threatened of him coming in or her coming in and just popping in and all that. A good leader is visible.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
engaged.
Yes.
Not visible on a phone, not, you know, visible, like walking around. Like one of our favorite principals on social media that we follow is Principal Lamb. And if you ever see this, maybe you want to search him out, LAMB, Principal Lamb. He walks the halls with a cart. He's never in his office unless there's a meeting or something like that where it has to be confidential. He is always, so that if a kid is acting out and you need that kid removed immediately, or at least a conversation immediately, then he's there. And I just feel like that visibility is so important.
It is.
Especially, I mean, in all levels. I shouldn't say especially in middle school and high school, but really, it's something that it cuts down traffic in the halls. It cuts down anything that's happening in your building. So there's that.
And not only are they visible, but they step in where needed.
Yes.
Right? They don't remove themselves, especially now. And we've talked a lot about what's happening in public education now and the crisis of the shortages that we're experiencing and how difficult and challenging that is day to day. And there are some administrators who refuse to step in and cover where coverage is needed, and it lands on staff repeatedly. So again, we're all in education for the same reason. We're all in it for the students. This is who we're supporting. This is who we're guiding. This is why we're there. So you don't remove yourself from a situation where you could provide some support or you could provide some coverage. So the same people aren't always feeling like they're getting pulled from their jobs or their positions, because we all have responsibility and expectations that we all get pulled from. And it feels a little more supportive when we all are pitching in versus putting the responsibility on a small group of folks.
Yeah, I think that's one of the nicest things. We have a relatively new principal here in town in our high school, and he is always stepping into the classroom if a teacher needs coverage for something or if it's a last minute thing. I just applaud him for that. And he'll say, like, I've come in when a teacher had to leave because they were sick or whatever, and then I popped in as a sub, and he was like, yep, they were working on this and they're doing this and okay. And I'm like, I mean, you're part of the whole thing. You're not set apart. You are a part. And so that just speaks volumes to the students as well as your staff. So, and parents, of course, because then you get to know their kid a little bit better in a different situation, not like in a principal don't do this, but like, hey, what are you working on? Or what are you doing? Or nice job at the game, or, you know, all those things. So, you know, a good leader is willing to do all things.
They are trustworthy. You do not feel threatened, and they do not micromanage. So take what you will. Leadership is important. It can make or break your school year. It really can. And I don't think sometimes they realize, well, that climate piece is so important. and we talked about it quite a bit in our district, and we'd have some poor leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see people leaving. So I did come from a bigger district. We had 7 elementary schools. So they wouldn't necessarily leave the district, but they leave that elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew exactly why they were leaving, right? And oftentimes it took the superintendent had to step in, or HR had to step in.
Mm-hmm.
We lost a lot of good people.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, it's clear you have people exiting your school because of the leadership, not because it's better at this elementary school or they have a better offer at this elementary school. When it's because of the leadership, it's pretty clear. And I think those are things we also need to be a little more aware of. You need to listen to your teachers when they're telling you it's not a right fit, because sometimes it's not.
Right.
Sometimes it is not a right fit.
Right.
So.
Okay. Wow. We just solved all those problems.
Well, I don't know if we solved them, but
they're
out there.
Good. Right.
They are out there, but there is a solution. There is. I mean, right now it may not seem like it, but there is. There's always a solution.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again,
enjoy the rest of this sunny day.
Yes.
This, did we break a record today?
It's 7. I think it's 70.
Hey, we were close to. Maybe
and it's what, March 10th? What is the date?
9th, maybe?
March 9th.
I think it's the 9th.
And
the
it's 70. We're in short sleeves, everyone.
And you know what's happening next week?
I know.
It's going to be 36. I said it, but that's okay. I haven't put my winter coat on
I know. Yet. Well, I started doing some gardening.
I'm supposed to do that. What? Poor bugs.
Oh. Okay. I'm signing off.
Bug killer. All right, goodbye.